Hello and welcome to the big special 2017 election edition. I'm Zirkzank and take the glasses off. Got some new glasses to go with my shirt, look like as much of an asshole as I possibly can, because it's not enough to just act like an asshole, you need to dress like one too. So let's go forwards with this. Straight into it. What am I going to do in this episode? I'm going to talk about the election, but I'm going to do it from a place of this, because I don't know anything about British politics other than I don't know anything about British politics. I know that they have several parties and you can vote for them. That's it. I don't know, this election I think has been brought about by a conservative leader. The Prime Minister has just called one out of nowhere, hopefully, so that she'll get an extra 5 years or 4 years. I don't even know. It's like 5 years, isn't it? Who knows? Who cares? I care. You should care. Everyone should care. It's important. So this website, I don't know how reliable it is. It's a site made in 2012 by two friends who with very different views of ability. Like, this is bullshit. I mean, this doesn't necessarily have to be true. They could just say, it's called I signed with is not affiliated with any political party, candidate, or interest group. It says down here it's unbiased, but is it unbiased? It doesn't necessarily have to be. This might be untrue, so we don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna just go through it anyway, down the list, and see, because I don't know anything about this. So I need to use a special. I need to do a quiz, Facebook quiz, but it's not Facebook. It's I side with, isidewith.com. So yeah, you just answer the questions. I'm going to be going through each of them. My political beliefs, make them public, why not? It doesn't matter. I can probably educate some people, because what I think is the right thing, what you think might be wrong if it disagrees with me. So let's bear that in mind. Let's see. Stance on abortion. Well, I don't care. So where's the one for that? Pro-choice. Let's see. I'm gonna go with pro-choice because, giving people the choice to do what they want. Because, why not? Let's see. Ban after the first 3 months. What does that mean? It means you can't kill the kid if they're 3 months old. What? 3 months pregnant. I mean, I think you should be able to choose whether to kill your child or not, all the way up until they're 18. And so your kid's 17, and you just think, clean your room or I'll abort you, So I don't know where that fits on here. Add your own stance. Well, no, because then it's not going to give me an accurate result. Let's go basic. Pro-choice. You can choose. How important is this to you? It's less important. In fact, it's the least important. No, I'll go less because the colors change. Let's go with less. Keep it blue. There we go. Do you support the legalization of same-sex marriage? Well, I don't think marriage in general is great. Yes, but allow churches the right to refuse same-sex ceremonies. Take the government out of marriage and instead make it a religious decision. Is it not? Is marriage a religious decision? I thought it was a legal thing. Well, that's civil. Allow civil unions, but don't call it marriage. Take the government out of marriage. What is this? Do I support it? Yeah. I mean, if people want to get married, I disagree with marriage. So the whole question is I just don't care. I care about this less. Should gay couples have the same adoption rights as straight couples? Yes. What are the other stances? Yes, as long as background checks. Well, that's presumed. I mean, that's presumed in the yes. Everyone should have a background check. I mean, it doesn't specify this could go into yes. So yes can. I don't know. How important is this to you? Less. Once again, I just don't care. Should I answer more social questions? It's gonna expand. Should terminally ill patients be allowed to end their lives via assisted suicide? Oh yeah, I forgot. Suicide's illegal. So, yeah, yeah. Of course, you should be able to kill yourself. I mean, a lot of people should kill themselves. How important is this to you? Somewhat important. I mean, can I choose somewhat? Yeah, there we go. Do you support the death penalty? It depends what people have done, I guess. Only for horrific crimes with undeniable evidence. That's very vague. Horrific. You can spin horrific onto anything. If I think that, somebody opening a packet of crisps upside down is horrific, then I could say they deserve the death penalty. It's not illegal, but horrific's a very subjective term. Too many people are innocently convicted. Spending life in prison is a harsher sentence. Well, it is a harsher sentence than being granted death. So, do I support the death penalty? It's basically, do I think that government should kill people? No, government shouldn't kill people. How important is this stance to you? It's not very important. Not yet. I mean, most of these aren't important to me. But, yeah. Should businesses be required to have women on their board of directors? Required to have women, as in they'll force women into a position that they're not qualified for, or a woman who is qualified for it is forced to be there just for the sake of diversity. Let's see. This is about diversity. Yeah, no, the government should never require the diversity of private businesses. Like, what's the point? What are you trying to achieve? Diversity doesn't... You just want the people who are best at doing their job. As simple as that. How important is this to you? It's not very important. Let's go with somewhat more social questions. Should I? No, because then the quiz will go on forever. Right, okay, yeah, this is the last one. Should the military allow women to serve in combat roles if they can pass the same physical test as men? It's not from a point of discrimination, it's a point of if they can pass the tests, they can do it, It's as simple as that. How important is this to you? It's not important, but that's just the way I think it should be. Men are more likely to risk the success of a mission in order to protect women. I don't know, if you're a well-trained soldier, you wouldn't do that. Combat roles replace women in high risk for sexual assault. I mean, that's possible, but if you're passing the same physical test as men, you're not going to get sexually assaulted, I think. Or then again, that I don't know. Yes, if they want to. It's as simple as that. Yes, if they want to, and if they don't, they don't. Should women be allowed to wear? Oh Jesus Christ! This is all those like Muslim things, other stances. I mean, it's not from a place of respect for cultural traditions. It's it's like it's a situation of like, I think people should be able to wear what they want to wear and not have government like interfere with that. So I'm going to say yes, they should be able to have it, but it's very, very unimportant to me. So I'm going to put least. I mean, their identity must be privately verified. Well, you would assume that this is verified by a female. What the fuck does this even mean? What is this question even? This is like... I'm going to take this question as, should people be allowed to wear what they want? And I'm going to answer it as yes, but it's not that important. I mean, it says specifically to civic ceremonies, they need to have their identity verified, but you would assume that they would anyway. If it's like an important civic ceremony, people's identity would be checked. If it isn't, then that's just a fault on the organisation that's doing it. So, it's national security issue. Should the UK assassinate suspected terrorists in foreign countries? I mean, yeah, I guess if they're gonna, I don't know, unless they're committing a terror act over here, or this is once again, yeah, if there is undeniable evidence that they are planning to attack our country, undeniable evidence, can you assassinate them? Yes, but if there is undeniable evidence that they have committed an attack already, so planning to do it versus have they done it? No, capture, interrogate, and imprison them instead. That's kind of the same as fair trial, except this is. It's like, should a suspected terrorist be interrogated? If they're a suspected terrorist, they should be given a fair trial. I want to say yes, they should be given a fair trial. How does that go as a stance? It's I don't know. How important is this? Have I been affected by terror? No. Is terror an important thing? Terrorists in foreign countries should be captured. No. Should they be assassinated? No, they should be captured and given a fair trial. It's how important is this? It's somewhat important because terror. If you talk about like bombings and shootings and stuff, that's give them a fair trial. Well, if there's undeniable evidence that they were planning to do it, I think actually, yeah, just straight up. Well, they could deny it. How undeniable is your undeniable evidence? Alright, if the undeniable evidence is just undeniable, then yes, of course. Actually, they have to have done something first, I think. That's the way the law works in general. But planning to do something is already a crime, but let's just say they have to have done something. Should laptops be banned on all direct flights departing from the Middle East? So coming from the Middle East with a laptop. High-risk airports, all electronics. No, this discriminates against Muslims. Does this discriminate against Muslims? I mean, the Middle East isn't just Muslim. It's there are a lot of different religions there. I know it's mainly Muslim, but still, should laptops be banned? Well, as much as I mean, these are flights departing from the Middle East, so they're coming from the Middle East. Bringing laptops. The whole thing with laptops is that they could be bombs. I'm guessing. It's what this learn more thing is. Yeah, it sends a link to a Wikipedia article called "Laptop Travel Ban." So, what is my stance on this? No, it discriminates against. No, this is fucking stupid. No, I mean it's very unimportant. But if it's a laptop or if it's a bomb, whatever, just let people bring their shit. Do support the practice of fox hunting with dogs? No. I mean, that's mostly just because I don't like fox hunting, the idea of it. Like, I've never done it. I'm saying I don't like the idea of it. It's stupid, and I don't like the groups of people who do it. But in general, it's like, if the fox is good enough to run away, then the fox can run away, I think. I don't know. How important is this? This is like the least important thing ever. What are these things? It's a cruel sport which should remain illegal. I mean, the fact that it's cruel is kind of just like, in a very, it's an appeal to emotion, and that's really the only argument you have against it. It's cruel. Foxes, I don't know. Let's go with no. It's because it's cruel. But it's not very important, I'd say. Like, if it became legal again, it wouldn't really change anything in society. It's what I'm saying. Like, it wouldn't change anything. It's an environmental issue. It's not very environmental issue. Should the government increase environmental regulations? I think the government should not increase any regulations on businesses, but to reduce carbon emissions. Let's see, carbon tax. What are the other stances? If they are going to increase tax, they should also give people. Well, the thing is, carbon emissions. It's not necessarily to do with global warming. It's to do with the fact that it's just pollution of the air. You know, you want clean air, and I'll be honest. I just want solar to be a bigger thing, so that solar becomes cheaper, because I want cheap solar, because the idea of not being tied down to the grid, or the idea of having this cheaper and freer electricity, would it necessarily be cheaper? Would it be freer? That's the thing. If it's being pushed on to businesses through government regulation, would they make it just be free, or would they still charge the same amount of money? I think the answer is yes. As far as like switching over to renewable energy, yeah, I mean, you should. The government is over-regulating businesses. Now, see, that's the thing. Government is over-regulating businesses, but I don't know. I want to answer both of these. Should the government increase regulations? No, but they should. But people should be just going to renewable stuff anyway, because it's more efficient. It's the future. You know, batteries, electric stuff. Less pollution, as in like air pollution. Atmospherically, global warming. It's really hot. I mean, I don't want it to get hotter. Now that's a joke though. Let's see. Provide more incentives for alternative energy production instead. But is that's kind of the same as yes and provide more, no and provide more. So the government shouldn't do anything. I mean, this question is like tied into this as an environmental thing, but let's answer this, because that over-regulating businesses doesn't relate to energy. Well, that's more like economics and business. So for this question, let's do with this. How important is this? This is kind of more important, because you want a sustainable, renewable country. Should disposable products such as plastic cups, plates and cutlery that contain less than 50% of no, they shouldn't be banned, but they just should stop using them. Yeah, once again, more incentives, tax incentives. I don't know, it says should they be banned? No, but increase tax on them. That's kind of like, that's what, if you do increase tax on them, it's essentially the same as banning them. It's government intervention. Consumer incentives is an important one. It's not that important though. I mean, it is. You know, you don't want to be polluting the sea and landfill sites, but I don't know. Hydraulic fracking to extract oil and natural gas resources. Well, I'd say no. This is mainly because we need renewable energy. Hey, there we go. No, we should pursue more sustainable energy resources instead. That's more important. It's important. Do you support the use of genetically engineered crops and foods? Yes, but what are the other stances? Yes, but producers should not be able to patent seeds. That's a good one. Yes, but require the labeling of foods that are genetically modified. I mean, what does it matter? It really doesn't matter. How important is this to you? Somewhat, I guess. Less. A lot of these aren't, because I have fuel anyway. Like, I don't have any fuel with me, but I mean, genetically modified food, genetically engineered crops are not bad. Like, I'll make a separate video about this, so you can just Google it by someone who knows more about it than me, or do the research yourself and then come to your own conclusion. But genetically modified organics, or GMOs, are not bad. They're in fact good. They can be gooder than the stuff. They're cheaper, bigger, better, resistant to diseases. They're genetically modified. If you're modifying the genetics, you're taking control of an organism and making it better. It's what we do with everything we do. So yeah, and plus I can't criticize. I mean, I'm sat here drinking fucking Cherry Relentless. So whatever. Somewhat. Economics. Should the government raise the national minimum wage? See, minimum wage just as a thing shouldn't exist, because you need to have businesses being competitive with each other. Having a minimum wage instantly drops the minimum wage that they can pay their workers to a certain amount, and that just becomes like the standard. Like, why pay people more to do the jobs when you could get away with paying them less? You need to get rid of minimum wage overall. So should they? But that's not the question here. Oh no, and they shouldn't raise it, and they should eliminate all wage standards. Because yeah, look, it just creates a never-ending cycle. Most minimum wage jobs are meant to develop experience and not support a family. I mean, that's true. A lot of these are true. The minimum wage is high enough for one person to look after themselves if they're living cheaply, but it's not enough to sustain a household on. Like, for example, if you are a single parent and you have multiple kids, and you have to live in a reasonably nice house, or even not, if you try and have healthy food and healthy food in a decent area, it's not a lot of money. It's not enough, basically. So that's why I say that the amount of money that people get paid should be higher, but raising minimum wage isn't the right approach to it. Should eliminate all wage standards, make companies more competitive with each other, and therefore the only way that they can get employees is by offering them a higher amount of money than their competitors. Therefore, it what's the word for the opposite of artificial? It naturally it's not naturally, but the thing, I forgot the word. It naturally balances it out so that then, say, what is it like? It's like £7.50 an hour, just becomes something absurd for like the same jobs. It can become lower and it can become higher. It just depends on, like, some people are willing to do it for less. Some people are willing to pay more to some people to do certain jobs. It naturally balances itself out. How important is this to you? Well, considering I'm about to be going into a minimum wage job, and the national minimum wage is never going to change. They're never going to get rid of it. They're never going to eliminate wage standards. How important is this to me? It's less important. I mean, it's never going to change. I mean, I could say that, and Zirkzank said that we should eliminate the wage standards, and then it does, and then I find every job that I can do is like £3 an hour, But it's not like that. Like I said, I explained. Do some research. Should the government prosecute people who avoid paying taxes by hiding money in foreign bank accounts? Is that illegal to do? Evading, not avoidance. See, there's a difference, I guess. We should strongly disincentivize those who move money out of the country. See, this is an issue that really only applies to people who have lots of money that they don't want to tax. So, I mean, I can't blame them. They don't want to lose money that they've earned through paying taxes. Except if they earned it in the UK, then they should pay tax on it in the UK. Like, should they prosecute people for doing it though? If it's illegal, which it probably is. Yes, I don't know. Yes, we should strongly disincentivize them from doing it. How important is this to you? It's not even important to me. Not yet. Not until I'm a billionaire. It won't be important. Should the UK raise taxes on the rich? No. Why would just reform to a flat tax? I'm not doing enough research onto this. I could click learn more, but flat tax is a flat tax being the same amount of tax for everybody? If everybody's is that what this is? Let's see, flat tax. Let's Google flat tax and see. Flat tax is a tax system with a constant marginal rate usually applied to individual or corporate income. True flat tax would be a proportional tax, but implementations are so. Flat tax rate. Let's see, because I really want to know what this is before I give a stance on it. A true flat tax. One tax rate is applied to all personal income with no deductions. So, yeah, do that. Give everyone the same. Equality. Yeah, fuck. But lower taxes for the poor. Well, no, just keep everyone the same thing. It's like, what? I know. I'm not in favor of like equality over the top, but this isn't a case of equality. This is a case of everyone just pay the same taxes. How important is this to you? Well, I don't pay any taxes, so I don't know. I pay VAT on the money that the government has loaned to me. So So how important is this to me? It will become more important to me, I think. Answer more economic questions, because I'm qualified to do this. Should the government make cuts to public spending in order to reduce the national debt? Public spending is kind of like what the government is for. Reduce military spending, end tax evasion, increase taxes on the wealthy. What is with this? Is fucking Robin Hood shit. Reduce the number of government officials instead. Increase taxes on large multinational corporations instead. Multinational, see, that's a big thing. Multinational is different. Should they have to pay more tax because they're trading from other countries? Well, that should be privately handled, so no. Cuts to public spending will negatively affect the economy. I don't... Would it negatively affect the economy? Cuts to public... I just think that they shouldn't make cuts to public spending, because this is like roads and shit. So, no. Reduce the national debt. The national debt is this something that affects people? I don't know. That's the thing. I don't know. Am I affected by the national debt? Is this why taxes are at the rate that they're at? Is this why inflation is so high and interest rates are low? Because we have national debt? Would this reduce the national debt? It wouldn't. I don't think it would. How important is this to me? I don't know. I guess somewhat important. Should there be fewer or more restrictions on current welfare benefits? See, welfare in general is like... deny benefits to immigrants, definitely. Increase benefits to the elderly and disabled. Well, the elderly and disabled, in a realistic world, they'd die off. If they can't earn money in society, they can't survive in the wild without their family. If there's no family around to help them, and natural selection, they need to, they get the same as everyone else. Deny benefits to immigrants. It depends. With the current system of immigration, I think anyone who's immigrates here should be allowed the same as anyone who is here if they're being a citizen. So, isn't that? But that's after 5 years or so of being here, I think. If you've been in the country for however many years it is that you become a citizen, then you're no longer an immigrant. Well, you're an immigrant, but you become a citizen. So this is to disincentivize people from just moving here to get free money. I think that would work, but fewer and what are the answers? Fewer or more restrictions. Let's see. Fewer, but make sure that it goes to people who need it most. Current benefits do not provide enough support. Well, they don't, but they're not supposed to. That's the thing. I mean, they're not supposed to. You're supposed to work for your money. I feel bad that I haven't had to work for any of my money so far in life. I just had everything given to me, and I feel pretty bad for that. So, let's see. Reform the system so that it supplements rather than replaces a working income. I don't know. That's still the same thing, except it doesn't mesh in properly. Maybe if you had a system where people were given welfare, but then they had to earn it back by paying a percentage of their wages away, but then they're less. Then they're getting less money from the job that they're doing, which means overall they have less money still. So would that work? No, I don't know. That's an extra restriction, meaning that they should have to work in order to get money, but when they don't have work, they don't get any money, or they would, but then they'd have to pay it back. I think that's what this system is suggesting. And so let's see. How important is this to you? I'd say it's somewhat important, or maybe more important, because it's somewhat important. Should child benefits restricted to a maximum of 2 children? Well, let's see. No, but increased to 5 children. Yes, but increased to 3 children. What? I understand how they've tried to. They've forgot that they put these answers here when they asked this question. It's pretty stupid. But parents must be permanent residents of the UK in order to claim. Yes, I guess. Or no, as long as both parents are permanent residents of the UK. To be honest, I don't know. I don't even agree with child benefits, but both parents are permanent residents of the UK. How important is this to you? It's less important. More economic questions. Should 18 to 21-year-olds take on unpaid community work in order to claim benefits? What does this mean? That unpaid community work to get benefits? So should they have to work for their money? I think yes. Lower the third. Yeah, give them time to look for a job. Oh, here. Yes, every capable person claiming benefits should be taken. That would be great. Yeah, if people were doing community work, then the benefit system would be fine. You know, how important is this to you? Somewhat, I guess. No, it's less important because I'm not 18 to 21. I don't really care. Should the top tax rate of income over why? No, yeah, flat tax. Come on. How important is this to you? It's not important. But raising the tax to be so high for people who are making more money, it's like, Jesus, why? Banker's bonus be capped at 100% of pay. I don't even know what a banker's bonus is. So I guess I'll look into it. All right. Well, that doesn't exist. So bankers' bonuses. Give me this. What is this? Bankers' bonuses are traditionally paid or awarded to some workers in the finance industry at the end of the banker's financial year. They're intended to reward employee behavior during that year that has increased the profits or bank or some relevant. So this is a bonus for people who work in banking. This is, if you could just apply this to being any job, anything that someone does. Should the bonus be capped at 100% of their pay? Should their bonus be capped? Nationalize the banks or privatize the banks? Well, any worker should be awarded. Yeah, workers should be rewarded based on their success. How important is this to you? It's not even important. I didn't even know this was a thing. Why is this on here? Am I naive? I mean, should the government abolish the inheritance tax? Does this mean? I didn't even know that inheritance was taxed. So yes, you should be able to inherit all the money that you want inherit. Shouldn't be taxed. How important is this to you? Somewhat, I guess. If my parents die, do I inherit anything? Probably not. But assuming that I would inherit something, I would want to inherit the full amount. They would want me to inherit the full amount. They wouldn't want it to be taxed. Nobody should have that to be taxed. That's stupid. Should welfare recipients be tested for drugs? Well, what drugs? Is this a waste of time and money? It depends. If they should be provide treatment for them, turn them into productive members of society again. If you can do that, do it. If you can't, well, death penalty, right? How important is this to you? Less important. But this is this is an issue with homelessness, that a lot of homeless people are just spending money on drugs. That's why they're homeless. Like, they're getting welfare, they're getting support financially, just not spending the money correctly. They're spending it on McDonald's and crack. So that's, give them treatment, make them into productive members of society if they can be. Try and treat them. If they can't be treated, death penalty, like I said. Should homeowners pay higher taxes on mansions valued over £2 million? Higher taxes just because the house is expensive? Why? It will... Wealth inequality. I mean, implement the tax on foreign-owned property. This is, once again, this is stuff to do with rich people, and I don't necessarily care. I don't want to... it doesn't matter. Should they pay higher taxes? No, it's just a house. How important is it? Not important at all. Should the UK pursue free trade deals with other countries? Yeah, I guess. But let's see what the other things are. Only with nations that adhere to strict human rights policies. Yeah, you don't really want to encourage any of those, like Middle Eastern countries or African countries, because they don't treat people very nicely in those countries. So I would say, yeah, do this. Past free trade deals have been unfair to our citizens. That's if you talk about like the European Union, where we just have a better country than the rest of the countries in the European Union. So to establish the free trade deal, you end up with open immigration as well, and that ends up just ruining it for us. And we want to have a better life than the people who have shit lives in shit countries. So selfishness, but I mean, who doesn't want to have a good life? So I'd say this. How important is this to you? Less. It's not that important, I think. I don't know how important it is, but I'm just giving this is my 2 cents, giving my opinion, throwing it in there. Should the UK raise or lower tax rate for corporations? Corporations lower, because what? Remove tax shareholder dividend. Alright, maintain the current tax rate. I don't know what the tax rate is. Eliminate deductions and loopholes. Why would you need to do that? I mean, just let people do it. Lower, but eliminate deductions and loopholes. That would be a good thing if you could eliminate them. But that's just more government getting into private corporations. How important is this to you? It's less important. But if I'm going into try and make a business, it becomes somewhat important. Should tenants receive less benefits if they live in a housing association or a council property with more bedrooms than occupants? That's a bizarre scenario. Should they receive less benefits just because their house has more bedrooms than occupants? I don't know. I guess no. So a house, council property. Should they receive less if they're in a house? Okay, I understand it. Yeah, if they're refusing to move to an available smaller property. Yes. How important is this to you? It's not important at all. More economic questions. Should citizens be allowed to save or invest their money in offshore bank accounts? See, I still don't understand this entirely. It's just because they have different taxation. Like, should they be allowed to put their money in bank accounts? Should people be allowed to do what they want? Should people be allowed to earn money and then put that money where they want to put it? That's how I'm going to read that question and say yes. If offshore income is reported, yeah, I guess. I mean, yes, or just yes. Like, how important is this to you? It's not. Should the government provide tax incentives to private companies to keep jobs within the country? Tax incentives to private companies. You know, private companies and taxation, let's see. No, the government should not interfere with the free market. How important is this to you? Somewhat, I guess. Should pension payments be increased for retired government workers? This is government payment to people who are retired. Should it be increased? Adjust them yearly for cost of living. I mean, that makes sense. But this is retired government workers. So that's not just people. That's I don't know. It should be adjusted yearly, because then, you know, should the payment be increased? No, they should be reduced. I don't know what the pension payments are for retired government workers. So I would say increase it to a reasonable amount. Pension, once again, I said you should have to work for money, but can I just not answer this question? Because should they be increased? Let's see. What is pension for government workers? Retired government workers pension. Let's see. Shit. Is this gonna... This is not... I'm not gonna find... I can't find any relevant to the UK ones, so let's just ignore that for now. Adjust them, I guess. Should they be increased? Yes, but adjust them if they're not, like, I don't know. No, we need... No, not until we increase our national debt. Decrease our national debt. My point is, this is the least important thing. In fact, fuck it. Should people be paid more stuff? No. They shouldn't, right. Answer economic questions. Do you believe labor unions help or hurt the economy? These are people who require a certain amount of wages and treatment, isn't it? I don't know what they public labor unions are basically pointless. Help in theory, but I've recently become corrupt and should... I don't know anything about them, so I'm just going to put this and then put least important, because it says the word corrupt in it. Have they become corrupt? I think they have. They should have their powers limited. See, I'm getting into territory that I don't understand, but it's like, how can anyone understand everything? I mean, I could look into it more, but I'm trying to, you know, for the sake of being concise here. Should the government use economic stimulus to aid the country during times of recession? What is economic stimulus? See, that's the thing. It's just these very vague... during times of recession. No, recession is a natural cycle that purges excess. Jesus. Yes, but sex on like government should intervene to boost. No, recession is a natural cycle. How important is this? It's not that important, is it? I don't know. Should mortgage lenders be allowed to provide buy-to-let mortgage loans? See, I'm getting so confused by this. Should a mortgage lender be allowed to provide buy-to-let mortgage loans? What is a buy-to-let mortgage loan? Is this a... what? Oh, okay. Oh, I get it. Buy-to-let is where you're buying something to let it. See, my brain is getting frazzled at the moment from doing all of this. Buy-to-let. Should they be allowed to do it? No, that's bullshit. No, buy-to-let mortgage leads to inflated housing prices. So yeah, how important is this? This is very important, because this is an actual issue. If people are allowed to just buy a house and then let it out, then they're making it. They can choose the price of that, as opposed to, it's hard for people to get their own house. Basically, is what I'm saying. So, mortgage lenders, if it's a private mortgage lender, then they should be able to do what they want to do. And if it's a private housing company, they should be allowed to do what they want to do. But at the moment, I'm just going to put this because I would hope that this would be the case, because I want to eventually be able to buy a house. But if letting people who do letting end up just buying a load of houses and then letting them out, as opposed to keeping them purchasable for people who want to own a house rather than rent, then it's bullshit. More economic questions. I'm not going to do it. I can't be bothered. Should the government be able to monitor phone calls and emails? No. How important is this to you? It's important because this is interfering with. Enact legislation preventing government surveillance of citizens' communications. So that. Are you in favour of decriminalising drug use? Depends on what the drugs are, I guess. Decriminalise drugs that offer medicinal. In fact, where's the one for? Yeah, just get rid of. Decriminalise all drugs, because if people want to kill themselves with drugs, let them. Should the British monarchy be abolished? They don't really do anything. They are a positive influence on tourism, charity, and international relations. They should be They should be self-funded. I didn't know that. I just forgot. They should be self-funded. How important is this to you? It's not very important. More domestic policy. Do you support the use of 0-hour contracts? Fuck no. How important is this? Pretty important. Should the UK reinstate a form of mandatory national service? No, we don't need that. How important is this? It's less important. It's somewhat important. Should it be illegal to burn the UK flag? No, it's just a flag. How important is this to you? Not very important. Domestic policy. Should Welsh, Scottish, and Northern Irish MPs be entitled to vote on legislation which affects which only affects England? Well, I mean, I would say no. What does it matter to them? But we are all part. It doesn't matter to them, but we are all part of the United Kingdom. I think. I don't know. I'm basically retarded, but Great Britain, United Kingdom is this stuff doesn't affect them. But since we are all part of it, and they are in a position where they can do this stuff. No, in fact, everything should be more local. If you shouldn't even be able to vote on something that doesn't affect your city. So, should they be allowed to do it? No. How important is this to you? Somewhat, I guess. Should there be term limits for members of parliament? I assumed that there was already, so yes. How important is this to you? Somewhat. Should non-violent drug offenders be given mandatory jail sentences? Non-violent drug offender, as in, going back to that other question of, should the drugs be legal? Let's see. Should they be given mandatory jail sentences? No, because doing drugs shouldn't be illegal. How important is this to you? It's not very important. Can't be bothered. 2 more domestic policy issues. Healthcare issues. Should there be more or less privatization of the NHS? Completely privatise the NHS. Where reduce costs, less nationalise all health services. Do nationalised health services work better than private ones? Well, it's been useful to have, I guess. I've enjoyed having the NHS. I wouldn't want to switch over to private because that would be expensive. I mean, it might be better. It might be essential healthcare. more or less privatization of the NHS. I think everything realistically, other than like maybe healthcare and roads and stuff, I don't know, less, I guess. Nationalize all health services? No, because you should still be able to get private if you want to have it. So how important is this to you? Not very. I mean, I basically feel like I'm dying on a constant daily basis. The NHS hasn't helped me. So I could say fuck it, the NHS sucks. But I don't pay money. If I paid money to them and they gave me shit service, I would go to a private place instead and pay them money instead. So it's like, it doesn't matter as long as they can exist. But yeah, no, fuck this nationalizing one. Should there be more or less privatization of hospital service and healthcare service? I think there should be as many as there naturally is through demand of business. So that's more privatization if it happens to be the case. This is the same question as the one above, basically. Well, same answers. I'm satisfied with the current system. I guess. I barely know what the current system is, so I'm just going to go with I'm satisfied with the current system. It's not that important to me because I don't know anything about it. Should foreign visitors have to pay for emergency medical treatment during their stay in the UK? I mean, yeah. I mean, they don't pay taxes, so why would they get it for free? Well, the stance is yes, and require them to show proof of insurance to show that they could afford to pay it, I guess. Because I know that, like, for example, one of my friends, he had medical treatment when he was in the US, and he just refused to pay it, and he still hasn't paid it. So basically, he can't go to the US anymore because he refused to pay it, but he doesn't have to pay it now that he's back where he lives. So, how important is this to you? Not very. More healthcare questions. Do you support the legalization of marijuana? I mean, yeah. What are the stances? Yes, and immediate release anyone serving time solely for drug offences. Yes. Or legalize it, tax it, and regulate it. No, you don't need to tax and regulate it. I mean, I guess that's what would happen if they did legalize it anyway, but so yes, marijuana is. How important is this to you? Not very. Should private firms reimburse the NHS if they exceed a 5% profit on contracts? If they exceed 5% profit, should they give money back to the NHS? Not really. I don't know. It depends on the case, doesn't it? How important is this to you? Not very. Education. Should the UK abolish university tuition fees? Other stances. Well, I think paying for university makes sense. Otherwise, the money just comes from the government, regardless. So, whether it's through student loans, whether it's directly from the government to the universities, it's still the same. That's stupid. Only for low-income families. So what? The low-income families get university for free, and everyone else has to pay for it. What does that mean? Should people studying abroad in the UK have to pay, as opposed to? Yes, but high job. UK. The university tuition fees should be reduced massively, but considering I've already done my university, how does this affect me? It doesn't really. I mean, my already done tuition should be reduced. I think it's ridiculous that it was so high anyway, because it just means that I've got to pay 5% for the next 30 years, or 25 years, 20 years. It's a long time. It's a lot of money. Should state schools be required to follow a standard curriculum? Teachers should teach to the needs of each student and region. Yeah, that makes sense. Fuck. Hell yeah. They should teach what the kids, students need to be taught. Or what is best suits them. How important is that? That's pretty important. Would you support the return of selective education system and the reintroduction of grammar schools? See, well, I don't even know anything about grammar schools. Focus on improving current standards, just making them be better, I think, because I don't... Selective education system, is this different groups and stuff? Do they not already have that? Do they not still have that? I don't know, because it's been, like, how long since I was in school, and I've not even thought about school. How important is this to me? Somewhat. I mean, the country should be... The education is fucking important. So, should free meals be offered to all primary school students? Yes, but only if they meet high nutritional standards. What? So, yes, they should be allowed free meals if they meet high standards, but otherwise they have to pay for shitty one. That's a stupid question and phrasing, but how important is this to you? Yeah, somewhat. It's pretty important. You kids improve the standards and give kids better food, better education, better food. Who can argue with that? You know, who can argue with that? Should every student be required to take GCSE exam at the end of year 11? I mean, if you don't want to do your GCSEs, you're not going to be able to do A levels or a BTEC, which means you won't be able to go to university. I mean, if you don't want to do GCSEs, I mean, should you be required to do it by law? No, but yeah, I mean, yes, something else there should be something else in place for you to do. Should the government allow businesses, charities, parents, or teachers to use public money to start free schools? I don't know what the fuck this is. I mean, yeah, sure, they can do that if they want to. How important is this to you? Not very. Electoral issues. Should the minimum voting age be lowered? Let's see. Any citizen that pays taxes should be allowed to vote. Well, do I pay taxes? If I've just been borrowing money, I'm 22 years old, and I've never worked, so that would mean I couldn't vote. I think everyone should be able to vote, purely because if I tick this yes, then it would mean that I wouldn't be able to. So, I don't know. Any citizen that pays taxes should be allowed to vote. I mean, the age doesn't affect you. It's about how much you know. So, no, voters should be required to pass basic tests demonstrating their understanding of politics. No, the thing is, even people who don't understand it should be able to vote. Like, everybody's vote matters is the whole principle of democracy. So, you know, any citizen that pays tax, anyone who's... If you pay taxes, you're part of the society, you should be allowed to vote. How important is this to you? It's somewhat important. Should foreigners currently residing in the UK have the right to vote? What are the other stances? Yeah, anyone who pays taxes should have the right to vote, except after... Oh yeah, only citizens should be allowed to vote. That makes sense. How important is this to you? Somewhat important. That only legal citizens should be allowed to vote. Yeah. Why would anyone who isn't a legal citizen be allowed to vote? Right. Should political candidates be required to release their recent tax returns to the public? I don't see how this affects their policies. Their income is none of our business. That's what I think. But I don't know. It depends. No, I would respect them more if they did, but they shouldn't be required to. Yeah, that's reasonable. How important is this? Not that important to me. Should the UK switch to a proportional representation voting system? That's the one where every county would have its own weighting depending on the number of something. Keep the current first past the post system. How important is this to you? It's not that important. I don't know. I'll come back to this at some point in life and change my stance on any of these if I have a better understanding of them. Should a politician who has been formally convicted of a crime be allowed to run for office? Yeah. As long as they finish serving their sentence. You know, do you want to have someone who's elected whilst they're doing a sentence? Or yes, as long as it was not a felony, violent, financial or sexual crime. No, I don't know. Give everyone a chance to run for office as long as they're not doing a sentence. It's not that important though. Should corporations, unions, and non-profit organizations be allowed to donate to political parties? Should anyone be allowed to donate? Yes. Why would they not be? Limit the amount? No. Turn into bribes. They can turn into bribes, but whatever, you know, bribe people if you want. How important is it to you? Not that important. Criminal issues. Should convicted criminals have the right to vote? Well, wait, look at it this way. I just decided if you've been convicted of a crime, then I just realized you're no longer a member. You're not following the social contract of the place that you live in, so you're not a valid citizen. So should a convicted criminal have the right to vote? Not really. Let's see. If are they still a citizen if they failed to comply with the law? It depends. It depends on what the crime is, because some crimes are stupid and should not be illegal. But they are part of the social agreement, so it gets very tricky. Let's see. Completing their sentences. Well, if people have determined that the sentence is valid, then if the sentence is a valid punishment, then, you know, if people do something and that their punishment feels adequate, if the society feels that these people who broke society's rules have had an adequate punishment, then they become citizens again, then yeah, they've done their time, you know, they become citizens again, they have the right again. Should non-violent prisoners be released from jail in order to reduce overcrowding? So if people have broken the law in a non-violent way, should that just be ignored? Well, no, because, you know, they're still breaking the law. I don't think imprisonment is a great way to deal with criminals anyway. I mean, it doesn't help people stop being criminals if you just put them in prison. So, but currently that's the best system we have for punishing law offenders, or not punish. The thing is, you shouldn't punish. It's punishing, just helping people to become better members of society. And if they fail to do that, then, you know, death penalty. I don't know. Give people chances to improve, not just throw them in jail and then make life even harder for them, so they're more likely to commit crimes afterwards. Just stupid. But should they be reduced? Should they be released from jail? It really depends on what they've done, doesn't it? They should be doing. It's like, how about? No, how important is this to you? It's not that important to me, because I have a different stance to what's on this. Add your own stance, yeah, but it's not gonna calculate the results properly. Oh, for foreign policy issues, do you agree with the UK's Brexit decision to withdraw from the European Union? Yes, obviously. How important is this to you? It's pretty important that we leave, because the EU is draining. It's destroying us. We don't need that. Should the UK abolish the Human Rights Act? Is this a joke? I don't know what the Human Rights Act is, but I understand that having human rights is important. So no, don't abolish it. It's pretty important, I think, to not abolish your human rights. See, I don't know anything about this though. I might be just skimming over something that I don't understand, but having rights and being a human seems important. Should every 18-year-old citizen be required to provide at least 1 year of military service? I thought I already answered this question. I might have misread another question as if it being this. Should every 18-year-old citizen be required? Nah, you know, doing. Should you have to fight and do military service? Or at least not fight, but just do military service? Doesn't require fighting. Not really. If you don't like to fight, you shouldn't have to. Although if you want to be protected, I guess you shouldn't complain. You shouldn't have to do military service, but you shouldn't criticize the people who do protect you. You know, don't say, "Oh, you're in the army, you suck." You know, these people fight, put their lives on the line to protect you and keep you safe. Don't insult them, but you shouldn't have to do it. Should the UK be allowed to access European markets once they leave the EU? Add your own. Should they be allowed to access? You should. Yeah, I guess you should be able to trade because I don't know. Still want some stuff that's cool, like cheese. I want cheese. Should the UK conduct pasta's nice. Should the UK conduct military strikes against North Korea in order to destroy their long-range missiles and nuclear weapons capabilities? North Korea sucks, but should we strike them while they're not attacking us? No. I think it's not that important to me. Should the UK renew its Trident nuclear weapons program? Yes, we need nukes. I mean, I'm against nuclear war, but you need to have nukes to protect you from nukes. You know, mutually assured destruction. That's the way I want to die, right? Just nuke the fuck out of each other. The UK should encourage all countries to dismantle their nuclear weapons programs. That would be very nice if we could do that. We should discourage everyone, but no one's going to listen to that. So yes, you have to have your nukes. Like, it would be nice if everyone got rid of their nukes. You know, it would be nice if we have world peace, but since we don't and we can't have world peace, then yes, we need our nukes. In fact, yeah, upgrade the current system. How important is this? It's pretty important. I want to stay safe. More foreign policy questions. Let's see. Should the government increase or decrease foreign aid spending? I don't know. Other stances. Let's see. I'm satisfied with the current amount of spending. I don't know what it is. We should not give foreign aid to any other countries. Decrease until we drastically reduce. Yeah, let's go with this. How important is this? Less. Should the government increase or decrease military spending? Other stances. Increase, but only after our deficit is. Let's just base everything on the deficit. You know. Should the UK provide military aid to Saudi Arabia during its conflict with Yemen? See, I don't know what's happening in this particular situation, so I can't really accurately answer this question. But I should just say that realistically, they should be providing their own. They should be fighting their own battle. Really, that's what I think. Should the national railway be privatized? What would this mean? Will this mean that it gets more expensive or cheaper? This is what I want to know. Will it be cheaper for me to get on a train? I don't use the train anyway, so I don't care. So, but I don't know, just know. National railway. If it's national, then should it be private? No. How important is this to you? It's not very important. People don't use trains anyway. I don't. Should the London Underground be considered an essential service which would ban all future work strikes? Should you ban I don't know. No. I guess it's not. How important is it to you? It's very unimportant because it's London. I don't care about London. Do you support the construction of a high-speed railway connecting London to Birmingham? That'd be cool. Yeah, that'd be cool. How important is it to you? It's not very, but I want one because it seems cool. Immigration issues. Should the UK deport immigrants who are considered to be promoting terrorism? Yes. Yes, and deport foreigners convicted of any criminal activity. That's even better. How important is this to you? Yeah, somewhat important, I guess. Should immigrants be deported if they commit a serious crime? Yes. What's the thing? After they finish serving their sentence, it's not that important to me. But yeah, if someone comes here and commits a crime, then yes, you've come to a country, and committed a crime there. You've basically shown that you don't want to be part of that society. You don't want to function in that society, so get out of the society. It's as simple as that. Should there be a temporary ban on all immigration to the United Kingdom? I'd prefer a permanent ban. Nah. We should increase security. You shouldn't ban immigration, but you should increase security and add more requirements to immigrate. How important is this to you? Somewhat important, yes. Answer more immigration questions. Should Muslim immigrants be banned from entering the country until the government improves its ability to screen out potential terrorists? Well, not all Muslims are terrorists, but let's see. Should you ban? See, the thing is, the religion of Islam does should Muslims be banned? I guess yes. That's my answer. But that's mostly just because I don't like the ideology of Islam. Should that stop people who claim themselves to be Muslims from entering the country? Yeah. How important is this? Somewhat important. Should the government enact a stricter immigration policy? Yes, but what are the other stances? We currently have too many immigrants. Yes, but make the process easier for skilled workers. You want skilled workers. You want less unskilled workers. Simple as that. Regular review recent immigrants to ensure that they've become productive citizens. Yeah, that's a good one. How important is this to you? Somewhat important, I guess. Should immigrants be required to learn English? Yes. Yes. But why should our government provide language learning courses for them? Yes, and remove. I mean, if you're gonna be an English citizen, you should be required to know English and learn English. I would not want to go to another country where I didn't speak the language. That is just absurd. That is absurd. You should expect that kind of treatment. How important is this to you? Somewhat important, I guess. More immigration questions. I can't be bothered. I'm close to the end. Science issues. Why are there only 2 questions for science issues? Should the government required to vaccinate children? Yes, vaccinations. You need that. Yes. Yes, vaccination. Vaccination's fucking important. Stop. It doesn't cause autism. Do you support the use of nuclear energy? Yes, but I also want. Oh, here we go. Yes, temporarily while we increase the investment into cleaner renewable alternatives. Yes, this is somewhat important. All right. Oh, big moment here, guys. Show my results. Let's do this. Wow, this is a big one. This is a big one. I'm gonna. Suspense is killing me. I really want to know what party to vote for because it's been an hour and 15 minutes. Let's see. Wow, I'm 50% across the board basically. 55% Labour, 54% Liberal Democrat, 53% Conservative, 50% UKIP, and 49% Green. So essentially, what this is telling me is that I'm a centralist. Wow. I'm a centralist, leaning primarily towards Labour and very far away from Green. Show more parties. Let's see. With all of the parties in here, my this is not in your district, so why would it? Okay, I don't know. That's interesting. Realistically, for this election, then I should be deciding between these. If I was going to go on a 1%, if we go by the highest percentage here, my highest percentage is Labour. Let's see. I can, if I click on Labour, what's it going to show me? I don't know. Let's go back and let's see. Now that, okay, there we go. Parties you side with by issue. Can I scroll down on this? On science, I side with conservatives, Democrat. Here we go. This is most important to me is science. Least important to me is transportation, and party results visualized. Wow. My ideology, centralist. Centrist. Your political beliefs will be considered centralist on an ideological scale. Wow. Your political themes, unilateralism versus multiculturalism. I side towards unilateralism, meaning you believe in policy decisions should be made solely for those who are most affected by the outcome of the decision. Yeah, I suppose. Globalization versus protectionism. Yes, I'm very much against globalization. Traditional versus progressive. I'm pretty progressive apparently, and secular. So my highest traits are secularism and progressivism, but I support deregulation, individualism, and what does tough versus tender mean? In showing your side slightly towards tender, meaning you more often believe in showing compassion, empathy, rehabilitation for small-time criminals. Show all themes. This is interesting. Laissez-faire versus what is this English? Because I might be retarded, but is this English? Wow, assimilation. Whoa, my highest thing is fucking assimilation. Jesus Christ, I should join the fucking Borg. Check this out, fucking 68% on assimilation. Wow, capitalism versus socialism. Yeah, I'm 42% in favor of capitalism and not very important. Small government versus big government. Pretty much a centralist on this. That's very interesting. Let's see where the voters side with me. I don't understand this. What's this? I don't know. Let's see. National region results. Blah blah blah. Nottingham, East Midlands. It's pretty much divided on. The entire country is fairly balanced. So, yeah. Wow, that was interesting. That's British politics for you. So yeah, I still don't know what I'm going to vote for. Like I said, this doesn't help me. Being a centralist makes it very hard for me to decide what to vote for. I'm going to have to just do more research into the parties and then make a decision based on that. Like, I mean, fuck. Bye.